Well, hey there team, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to a bit more Hardspace Shipbreaker as we continue to poke and prod and test the game beyond its sort of content, I suppose. It was very interesting. We had some cool discussions around the superglue theory, which we'll unpack a little bit now. Well, I guess we don't really need anything. I'm going to keep interrogating the industrial gecko because bloody well, why not, right? Salty Ryan. Reminds me of a bloke I know. Okay, cool, so let's do that. So, if you're following on from previous episode, I was sort of positing that there are like super glue struts, and there's been a back and forth with some of the boys down in the comment section, you can go and check the previous one, but someone pointed out, I'll just cover this real quickly before we jump in because we're on a timer, that it's probably something in the development, in the actual code, that while we see the struts holding everything together, you know, like, let's say in headcanon, in the sort of cosplay bloody fiction that is this game, the struts and the sort of the yellow cut points are what's holding the ship together. In reality, that's probably not actually feasible in how it's actually working, right? Because the game doesn't really have a strict friction system, or it doesn't have a very good one. Like, we just assume that it would be held together by these points. But what's probably happening is there is this sort of magnetic glue function of the rectangular plates as they are joined to each other. And as long as they're intact and unscratched, they essentially stick. They stick together. Not all of them, but some of them. And I think that's an interesting point that person posited. And that sort of the developers can kind of hide it. You know, because I suppose most people aren't going to interrogate the game as much as we are. But yeah, that's an interesting point. It's a little bit saddening, but it's worth considering and thinking about. Having said that, the one reason where I think that might fall over is when we do pull out some of the side panels and they do sort of get friction stuck, but then they can pull free from their neighboring things. So not everything is kind of super glued until X condition is met of damage to the panel. But I agree, I think there are some that are just, until you damage it, it is actually super glued to the next panel because of game design, because of how they've coded this whole system to work. Anyway, it's very fascinating. So let's go in. One thing that we did say we're going to try straight off the bat is, oh wow, it's actually pressurized, so this could be interesting. It does give you the danger warning.
Salvage destroyed. Air pressure levels for damaging salvage.
Okay. Not really that big a deal, to be honest. Can I like send? Oh, hang on. We'll come up with a fast system for that. But look at that, we can get the cargo doors off pretty easily, so that's cool. Alright, now this thing just decides it's going to float my way, so we're launching that into the fucking stratosphere. Oh well, actually it got stuck on something. Not that there's a stratosphere out here, it's more of a figure of speech. Okay, so what we're going to experiment with is we're going to place that tether center. This is what we did before, so we're creating a repeatable scenario. Right. And now what we're going to do is drill these out. Now I think maybe we drill the fuel line first, but I guess we'll see. Oh wait, that's... I was like, hang on, what's happened there?
Reactor meltdown detected.
God damn it.
Urgent action required.
Oh, this is working out well. Now, the reactor has full health. can't seem to get at it, sadly. Didn't it used to once upon a time if... Oh, no, that's if you yank it out of its core straight away. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So if you yank the containment out, it still has a health bar. But if you yank it straight out of the containment, it went straight to the red thing. Or, you know, the yellow and red health bars. Yeah. That's pretty quick. I think that's as quick as you're gonna get. Like, I wasn't going at pace. You know what I mean? If this was an instructional bloody yoga and slow motion video, I've sort of shown you the steps to do it, and then I guess we just got to practice to get faster. The only other thing I could possibly think of is like if we tried to cut a hole out through the floor. But I mean, how would we do that? Like if I go and cut this, it's gonna crack the sads some more, right? Oh, I guess it's not that bad. It's not like there's anything explosive there. Alright, so what's the go with the keel? Because the keel's the part that gets in the road. I mean, unless we do want to just pull it out the side panel, you know? But these struts, these indestructible struts get in the way. So, like, I'm not against, you know, I like the beginning system. Do it. The fuel line seemed actually pretty safe cutting it that way, right? And it came out of the barrel pretty straightforward. We got to obviously test if that's repeatable, but then having that tether down the corridor along here worked out pretty well, right? But then, do we necessarily want to go in through the roof? Like, we could just come in through the roof. That was just quick. Even with the depressurizing, the game didn't really give a shit. So the argument would next be, how would you pull it out without doing too much damage? The thing is, this whole cargo bay is pretty open. The crates are unpredictable. So they can be stacked there, or you can have a bit of an empty space there. Because, I mean, hypothetically, we could just cut a fucking keyhole through the side. Right? You know what I mean? Something like that. Leverage the fact that the two corner points aren't attached, so we can do it in two cuts. We've pulled the barrel out like that. Whoop! We can yank it through. It's still got a health bar. It's not sparking near anything dangerous. Do you know what I mean?
Credits awarded.
Does it go to red health bar as soon as you yank it? That might be the go. Just fucking do that. And just pull it out of its core. You come down, tether, right? Punch a hole. Go over to the hole. Drill the pipes. Watch it do a drive-by. Pull the panels off as it's driving past. Let it spark maybe. Pull it out through here. Woo! That might be the go. That might be the go. Interesting. Okay. So, I've been experimenting with the front end of this ship. It's been fun, but I think it's been mostly inconclusive, to be perfectly honest. As someone pointed out, I think, like, once I cut this panel, for example... Well, actually, no. If I were to cut this panel, I think what happens is all the magnet properties of its edges fail, right? So let's do that. That's what I'm most interested in. See, what you see here is this tiny little cut through to there, but what I think is going on is this whole corner section no longer magnets, right? So I guess maybe the question is, what is it magneted to? that is interesting, isn't it? Okay. So, I mean, we could have probably inferred that there was no magnet property along this edge anyway, because we know about this buckle sort of holding it together, right? But cutting that really let it spring free. And it does seem to have that shielding crap on the front as well. So that's just the front corner sort of thing. That's interesting. So I wonder if we needed the first cut on the bottom panel. Like, was it technically attached or not? Interesting. I doubt we can repeat that over here because it's attached to the... But essentially that was this panel here that we damaged, right? Whoops. Alright, so we damaged that. That unsticks. That not so much, because you're attached to the cockpit technically. This is fascinating. Alright, we're going back in. Now that is the piece there, right? We've already damaged it. Have we not? Isn't that interesting? Look at this, there's a separate chunk. Because of the housing. Ah. Alright. That's interesting. I find all that really fascinating. But here's the other thing that I was really curious about, right? Remember I was talking at the end of the last video about the idea of the... Because we split mackerels down the middle, left and right. But what about top and bottom? This ship seems to have a predilection towards that, right? What is actually holding the top and bottom together? That strut is... Are there other struts? No.
There's 5 minutes remaining in this shift. Get in while the getting's good.
Yeah, okay. We'll just check up this side as well. Huh, that strut's not actually technically connecting it. Oh, hang on, what's going on here? That's asymmetry. Is there? Oh, no, there is a strut. This. That. What is your story, sir? Are you attached to him in any way? Nope. Alright, so what's attaching... What's attaching... that to... This one piece is literally what's holding the roof of the entire front section to the bottom. Right? That's got to be it. Alright, so how do we spring you free? That's interesting. That doesn't want to let go. Ah, you really don't want to let go, do you? Oh, what's going on here? What is going on there? Now that's a question. Are those struts technically attached to each other?
Excess carbon dioxide can cause damage to LYNX equipment.
Oh man. I'll do my O2 now. This is fascinating. Ow.
Helmet damage detected. Always use LYNX grounded repair kits to avoid invalidating your warranty.
You're right, Shaz.
Oxygen reserves are
That didn't take much, that short little acceleration.
supplies are available for purchase in the master jack.
There's nothing holding them together. You know what? Arguably, I kind of. Oh, Krusty wants in. Let me in. Let me in. Probably could have done that infinitely better. Alright, hang on. So if we cut these. It's telling me they're still attached. Well, actually, I'm more interested in the bottom and the... Right, we're getting a weight profile that's still the same. Oh, hang on. They're not attached anymore. 33 ton. There we go. I just disconnected the entire top section. 2 struts on either side towards the rear quarters, right? And that 1 center strut, and the entire top was disconnected. Obviously, discount my meddling earlier. Who knows what I might have cut in the front section that might have helped that facilitate. So 5 cuts of the internal struts, and the whole front 3/4 ceiling comes off. Now, can we move bloody 3.5 tons with our tethers? I don't know, whatever it was. It wasn't 3.5 tons, it was like 33 tons or something stupid. But that is starting to be interesting. Even if we could just tether it to a jack and move it. Of course it should be able to move. Well, I mean, those jacks shouldn't be able to stay perfectly in still anyway because space, you know, but they're just floating there and apparently they're an anchor, but who cares, it's a fucking video game. But alright, that was interesting. We need to interrogate that next time. But yeah, I think we found a way to take a big chunk out in one go. Exciting. This is a lot of fun, actually, all this experimenting. You know, it's not like I'm just making up content, you know, let's come up with a challenge so we've got something to do. Not at all. I'm intensely curious about these ships, and I'm really enjoying, as I said, interrogating all their bits and bobs and sort of trying to get to the bottom of it. I hope you guys are too as well. Obviously there's a bit of discussion in that, so some of you must be pretty interested in the workings on and what's going on. You know, I suppose you do have to be careful how hard you peek behind the curtain, you know, because this isn't a fully real world physics system, you know, Newtonian rules and all that sort of shit. As we pointed out, it just wouldn't behave as a fun video game if you couldn't have things like jack anchors in the middle of the bay that are, you know, origin points that just never move no matter what. You know, you kind of need them to make the game fun. So I'm happy enjoying sort of poking and prodding at this. But yeah, we're starting to get to a point where we're seeing how it's put together and programmed. And Hopefully we don't wreck the magic. Fingers crossed, you know. But at the moment, I'm still just enjoying doing this to try and figure out sort of min-maxing and all that sort of thing. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, team, thanks again for joining me. I might just leave it there for the time being, and I will catch you guys on the next one.